Countries will use a lot of different things to identify themselves. Flags are perhaps the most famous use of a symbol to identify a country, but they use lots of other things too. The vast majority of countries have some form of national anthem. It's usually a patriotic song that tells the story of a country and tells maybe the story of the history of the country and maybe what's important to the people who live in that country. Some of these national anthems have very strange and interesting origin stories. The very first national anthem to ever be composed is the national anthem of the Netherlands, and it's written from the first person perspective of the father of the nation, William of Orange, not to be confused with the other William of Orange, who's perhaps more widely known in the UK. The national anthem of the Netherlands is strange in that it includes a pledge of allegiance to another country. This is because it tells the story of this Prince of Orange, William of Orange, fighting against Spain in order to found the country. But the lyrics are still a weird remnant of the past. This is the national anthem of Greece and Cyprus, the hymn to liberty, or the hymn to freedom. It was derived from a poem written in 1823 by a poet called Dionysius Solomos. He wanted to try and capture what it was like living in Greece at the time during the Greek Wars of Independence and what it was like to live under the Ottoman Empire. Playing it in full, however, would take hours and hours and hours and hours and hours because this poem is in fact 158 verses long. Thankfully, Greece and Cyprus tend not to use this 158 verse version of their national anthems. They typically only use 2 of these verses, otherwise those medal ceremonies are going to be very long. One of the newer national anthems is that of Nepal, which you're hearing right now. Even though Nepal is hundreds and hundreds of years old as a country, this national anthem was written and composed just in 2007. It sounds a lot more like a bouncy karaoke song instead of a big bombastic brass band or enormous orchestra made of 100 flowers is usually played on a keyboard. This is the national anthem of Spain, the Marcha Real. I can't sing it to you, not because I can't sing, which is true, because it has no official lyrics. The Marcha Real has been used on and off by Spain as a national anthem or a royal anthem since 1770, and it did have lyrics at one point, but those were removed after the fall of fascism in the country, as they were seen as being too nationalistic, and they brought up lots of bad memories of that horrible fascist time. They actually held a competition to compose new lyrics. In 2007, the president of the Spanish Olympic Committee, Alejandro Blanco, heard You'll Never Walk Alone being sung at a Liverpool game, and he wanted to kind of make that a moment for Spanish people that they were able to sing their national anthem. You'll Never Walk Alone isn't a national anthem, it's just an anthem that Liverpool fans sing. But Alejandro Blanco was looking forward to Spain's bid, or Madrid's bid, to host the Olympics in 2016, so he wanted that to be an expression of Spanish national identity. To give Spanish people the ability to sing their national anthem, he wanted to give them new lyrics that were not tied to the fascist past. So the Spanish Olympic Committee invited the people of Spain to write their own lyrics for the Marcha Real. They got thousands and thousands and thousands of entries. The Olympic Committee had a panel of people who picked a winner, and they did. And it was removed after 5 days because people hated it. Funnily enough, the idea of writing lyrics for the Marcha Real has not resurfaced since. You are listening to the national anthem of Northern Ireland. It doesn't have one. Northern Ireland is a complicated little country in the fact that it doesn't have a unique official flag, it doesn't have an official language, and it doesn't have an official, unique national anthem. They want to be closely tied to the UK. The government at least wants to be as closely tied to the UK as possible. That was their traditional stance because they're part of the UK, but they're also in the island of Ireland, and there's been a lot of conflict between the idea of Irishness and Britishness in this little part of the country, especially. So I'm not going to touch that today. The government traditionally has wanted to be closely tied to the UK, and that is expressed through using the UK's national symbols, like the flag, which is the Union flag for Northern Ireland, and the anthem, which is God Save the Queen for Northern Ireland also. This is the national anthem of Andorra. Andorra is a very small European country that is found in between France and Spain, and it has a lot of shared culture between those. The flag itself is supposed to be a mishmash of the Spanish flag and the French flag. There's a lot of weird things about Andorra, one of those being that it is run by two co-princes. One of those princes is in fact the president of France. It's always the president of France. Whoever is the president of France is also one of the co-princes of Andorra, which makes it one of the only places in the world that has an elected prince. But the national anthem is even stranger. The Great Charlemagne is written in the first person perspective, not just the first person perspective of another person, the first person perspective as in the country itself, as if the country of Andorra is singing it to you. National anthems are just one part of a country's national identity, but it is an opportunity for a country to be as nationalistic as it can be and kind of big themselves up a bit. So I find it, a lot of them have very strange and very weird and very interesting origin stories as a result of that. I love trying to understand this stuff and exploring the world based on things like music and cultural identity and figuring out what makes countries, what makes Scotland Scottish, what makes Nepal Nepalese, what makes Spain Spanish and things like that. What do these countries do to express their own national identity across the world and to show off their own country across the world? And the national anthem is a good opportunity to do that. I love looking at these, and there are many more, but these are some of the strangest ones and some of the ones that have the most unique origin stories. Thanks for watching.